Hello, thank you for joining us again for another episode of Shit You Should Know. Today we are joined by Mike Burton, who dedicates his time to inspiring positive change within our community. Today we talk about how his daily positive messages started, where he wants to take them, and lots of valuable insights on his motivation, the fitness industry, and also a little bit about our gym, Unit 1, and our new ventures for 2024. So thank you again for joining. If you do enjoy this episode and find it inspiring, please share it with your friends, your family. And if you're new here, take a look at Mike Burton's Instagram page. It's at Mike Burton _positive messages. And also have a little look at our gym Instagram page at unit_1 with 2 E's at the end to learn more about how we're more than just a gym. But without further ado, let's get straight in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
People don't have authenticity anymore. Do you know, when you look at it, they don't. Do you know, it's about, everybody says what they think they should say.
Yeah.
They try and be somebody that they've seen somewhere else, and there's no better person you can be in your life than you. There's no better person you can actually try and impersonate more than yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know, but we do, don't we? Everybody finds themselves trying to be somebody they're not. I spent 36 years doing it.
Yeah.
Trying to be socially accepted. And it makes me cringe going back to the things and the way that the thoughts that I used to have and the anxieties I used to have around. I'd be sat here now thinking, what do you want me to say? What will make you happy? What will make you like me? And actually, if you don't love and like yourself, you can't do anything. Well, that's my view anyway. Yeah.
It's going to be full stop. So how was your event on Sunday? How did it go?
I'll be honest with you, and I'll get straight into it, and I said this earlier on. In my talk, I said when something good happens in your life, we are so guilty of you asked me that question, how did it go? My previous Mike would have said, oh, it was alright, I hope everyone enjoyed it, rather than what I said to everybody in the night is, when you do something good, you know it feels good, even if the feedback's good, you still wouldn't truly express that to other people because you're worried if they thought you was arrogant, like, oh, who do you think you are? But actually, so I'll answer the question as I would have asked everybody that night. You're allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah, it's called Shit You Should Know. So.
Is it? Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Because what I did say to people is...
Put swear word in there.
Yeah.
Just to make it clear that you are alright.
I was going to say, I wonder why you was invited, Luke. Because that's what I say, how are you going to swear?
I'll say like my
Say that's all bullshit every now and then.
So what I said to everyone is, when you do something good, shout about it, be proud about it, wear the smile on your face, and ultimately milk the fucking ass out of it, because that's a moment in time you'll never get back. I'll never get back you asking me again how that event went. So when I say it, for me, it was brilliant. The energy in the room was just amazing. We had laughter, we had tears. I can't believe that people wanted to stay behind and talk, and we had photos, and I'll be honest with you, and I said that to people, and I will continue to milk the ass out of the feeling I got from doing it, and I'm truly proud of myself, and I'm really proud that I did the event for free so people could access it, and that was my first event. But one of the comments I got afterwards was it looked like you'd done it 1,000 times, and the only way I could answer that question, why it looked that way, is because I was just telling the truth. I wasn't trying. Somebody said, did you have an auto cue? No. You had no notes, no auto cue, barring a few questions I was asking the guys. And you spoke. You had an event for 2 hours, 20 minutes, and you just spoke, with different bits, and you didn't have any prompts, barring a few photos. And that was the bit for me when I realised at that point, this is the first day of the rest of my life.
That's cool. So did you have to do any prep for it, or was it kind of...
Yeah, the biggest prep was, obviously Parkway came and approached me about doing the talk. I didn't approach them. So then when I started speaking to the amazing guy Andy there, who's the ops director, I didn't realise I had to choose what type of mic you're going to have. I didn't know there was more than one type of mic. I thought, when I see you with this, I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. Looks like a boombox. I was like, do you want a handheld mic? Do you want? And then so we ended up with the earpiece ones, which was, I was thinking to myself, obviously I have ADHD, and obviously I've suffered from anxiety previously, and a lot of that was from social anxiety of trying to be somebody that I wasn't. So actually holding a microphone before was quite comforting, because I had something that was like a safety blanket. So actually, not even be able to feel it, but it was actually really cool to be able to do that. And then we went in, and I had to go in and we had rehearsals, but the rehearsals was, what lighting do you want? What, the ones that you turn on? Because obviously it was, and well, the curtains here, do you want these stars on the screen? Do you want yellow? Do you want pink? Do you want white? How do you want it to be when you're speaking to the audience? I was like, so all of this, do you know, that you just never would have ever dreamed, but I was so passionate about wanting it to be a success, but also want it to be impactful for the people there. So I have such a mind that visualises experiences. So I was putting myself thinking, how is this going to feel? Because I think everything we do is judged by the way we feel. Like in my schools that I own, I ban the word behaviour because I don't believe in that. I believe in the word emotion, because like you don't get up in the morning and want to be an arsehole to somebody, do you know, but sometimes you are, do you know, but something changes in your environment or something changes in your life that makes you feel that way.
Yeah.
There'll be most probably 1% of the world that purely are, do you know, evil. Do you know, evil for no reason, you know, or something, you know, there's always something that's happened, and I do believe there's a story behind the eyes all the time. Nobody intentionally usually feels that way. And it really upsets me when people go at homeless people. Well, they're just a drug addict. They didn't wake up one day and ask to look that way or feel that way. They didn't. There's a story there. And everybody's been in a place where they can't get out of. And you can all relate to it. And I say this all the time. Everybody's suffering. Everyone has a story. And nobody's story is bigger than anybody else's. And obviously this won't happen, but let's say, for example, people lost a pet. They can get really upset. I could have lost a job. But two totally different things, bereavement and loss. But for you and for me, it feels the same.
Yeah.
Everybody's grief feels the same. It's just that, but people say, well, if you've lost somebody because of cancer, you should feel worse than somebody who's crashed the car. No, because at that point, you feel that way, but people judge everything we do that, rather than thinking, I believe that everybody's story is there, and everybody suffers, and don't judge your story bigger than anyone else's.
Yeah. That comes a lot into motivation behind stuff as well, doesn't it? Because it depends on what your start was, and people say, oh, well, they had a better start, or they had this and that, but actually everyone's had some sort of different start as well.
Somebody said to me, where'd you get all your content from? And I was like, here and here.
What's that with the content that you put out?
Yeah, because the ops director, this is how it all started actually. The ops director at Parkway Cinema, I didn't know him. So I was just walking past, and this is crazy now for, you know, when you think back to like a council estate, like I walked down Seafront and there's like people, when I'm walking past the cinema, and he said, are you Mike Burton? And I was like, yeah. He's like, can I ask you a question? His direct question was that, where's your content come from? I've been watching your videos. And I said, here and here. And that's when he said to me, would you have a chat with me? And I met him for a coffee, and this was the crazy bit, because it was just before Christmas. The panto's on. So he walks me through onto the stage before the panto's coming on, and he goes, oh, what do you reckon? Look at it. And he said, I want you to give a talk on here. I was like, what the fuck? Really?
What, there and then?
There and then. No, not there and then, because I would have been...
Just picture in the costume.
That's it. I could have been BFG. If you'd have seen me, I brought a picture up in my first slide is me as a kid. I'll show you the picture offline, and if you want to, put it as an overlay. Yeah, an overlay in this. And there's me, this little kid like a big lug's eye. So it's a good job I grew into my ears, I'll tell you that much. But that was the bit when he said to me about those, and then taking it to that question you just asked, is every one of my positive messages comes from a place of adversity, because it's something I've worked through. Mm-hmm. If you look at any positive message in the world, any quote, it all comes from a place of adversity, not positivity. It's how they've changed it. And actually, you're going to take a moment now, when you finish, or if you're watching this, just Google inspirational quotes. Every one of them comes from something that someone's lost, wants, never had. They all come from there. And that's when I realised that. And that's where when I found myself having an overactive mind, being an overthinker, procrastinating about things, is I overthink everything, but that leads me to the point that I work through all the problems to get to a solution. And then The hardest thing sometimes is articulating that to come out where I don't swear too much. Some of the messages that I say in my head are not the way they come out on the camera.
Yeah, how can we break this down?
And you'll get that. Well, Luke, just say it as it is.
Just going back to like the content and more like the event and stuff. Like, what was, let's say the event, what was like your biggest aim? Like, what did you want to get from it, or like give to people from it? What was the thinking bit apart from having that?
So I called it Mind Over Matter.
Yeah.
Because I wanted, and that's the reason why I invited Harry and Levi. And when I met with them, I said, just so you know, I don't want you to walk on that stage as the footballer and boxer. I want you to walk on the stage as the men you are, because people need to understand how your mindset works to get to that point. So the first thing I wanted people to do was to be able to take away and understand. In the event, I wanted three things I wanted people to get from it. If I was going to put them in brackets, like you say, I wanted people to realise how to live the happiest life in 2024, and I did a piece on that. The second one was I did an activity within the session that showed that 99% of the people in the room all suffered. So I wanted people to realise that we all suffer, and you're not on your own, but you think that you are a minority, but you're not. It's the majority. We just do it at different levels. And the other thing was people see, and when I said I wanted to make a difference to the world when I was in Tenerife, and I must touch on it at some point, and that was my therapist saying, you have to choose what you're going to do with your life. And I didn't know. And it took me days and weeks because I was listening to that negative inner voice who was going, you can't do that, what will people think of that? You definitely can't do that. And I was like, until I got over that, I had to truly ask myself, and I said this to myself, Matt, if nobody was in the room and nobody had judged you, what would you say? I just want to make a difference to the world. It just came out and I was like, right, that's it. So at that point, I do all these positive messages, but the main thing I wanted people to get who came to the event, who follow me and support me is, and it came in the second half, who is Mike Burton? So they got to understand that Mike Burton might on the outside look like this positive person that's doing all of these messages, but they got to know the reason why. Do you know how tough my life's been and what I've had to go to get to that point? So yeah, how to live the happiest life, realising that mental health's real and we all suffer from it. And then the other one is, who is Mike Burton? Do you know the person behind, do you know Mike Burton's positive messages? And I think that really came across in the end. And I think a lot of people, even friends who turned up went, didn't know that about you. Do you know that? Because it made myself so vulnerable and open. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's important to share that bit behind what you show as well, isn't it? Because then people understand what your motivations are and understand that it's not that you need your life to be perfect and super happy to be motivational and to have that drive. It's the stuff that happened that you then start to work your way through it and you create that path, isn't it?
Yeah, like I know you've invited me on, but like I can talk from perspective of, I said to say, I love when you do your absolute normal videos of everyday stuff. Do you know when you do that? And it's just like, and most people are like, and sometimes it's true though, isn't it? You know, as a kid.
Bought my car last night.
Yeah.
I do it so often.
But do you know what I mean? But that's when I say about being authentic and that is the most relatable stuff for me.
Yeah. And
the bits that you've been putting out recently, Luke, which I think is really beneficial for anybody who trains, is that you don't have to train optimum all the time. Do you know? And you've been, and when you had your injury as well. Do you know that you didn't need to do that? Yeah. But that's the thing I like about what you guys do. Do you know, because and if anybody watches this who doesn't already know what you guys do is, you almost, for me, if I was looking from the outside, and I won't be able to quote your missions or values, but I would say that you almost like champion the average Joe. Do you know, going, anybody can do it, and I'd look at that, and I've been in your gym, and you look at that, and that's the thing, and you go, that's the bit where it don't matter where you are, you can get to somewhere. Do you know, and there's a starting point, and guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to rag the ass out of you straight away. Do you know, we're going to build you up.
So for a few weeks in.
Yeah. That's what I was like until they're like, all right, if you just hold this above your head, and you just do this, I'm like, you see the state of me? But, and the other thing is, I think, what most probably, if you are on the inside of it, and if you open-minded enough and actually looking at it is that, I'm not criticising what you do. This is a massive thing that I don't think you shout loud enough about, is how amazing your community is that you have. Do you know? And I think that is the massive unique selling point for what you guys do. You know, the way you make people feel, but also, like I was saying to you earlier on, seeing everybody going rock climbing. Do you know, when you look at that, championing those, but then the other side is actually what you have, which you don't shout about, is you've got such a pathway to elitism if you want it. Because some of the things that you guys, you know, you personally can do, you know, physically, but also what you have the option to do when people are inside your gym is some like pretty big stuff. In it. And that'd be me. Yeah. That'd be, you could be the average Joe and go in your gym. You could be elite and go in your gym. But the other side is, they didn't even ask me to say this, by the way, so you know, is that if you want to be somewhere where you're looked at as a person and, you know, not a pound sign, and if you want to be part of a community in a gym environment, that's, you know, whether it be one-on-one training, or I would advise, and most of them not good for business, I wouldn't book a one-on-one with you guys. I would book in your group stuff, because I think that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know what you guys think.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, because it sounds cheesy, but it is like, your slogan is more than just a gym. And so many times that members actually go, oh, you really are more than just a gym, aren't you? It's like, well, yeah, I guess so. But it's all those extra things. Like, it's not a gym where you just walk in and no one knows your name, no one knows your goal. Like, all of us know your name, your goals, where you're at in life, what you're trying to achieve. If you've been ill the week before, if you've got an injury, like, we know everything. And it's like you say, you're more than just a membership and a pound sign. It's like you are a member and part of the team. But I love as well that Unit 1's like it's full of people that would never have thought they'd be that not healthy, but like active, regular gym goer.
Okay, I've got a question for you. Obviously, I know you're asking me questions on podcast, because I'm a nightmare for challenging. I challenge my own inner critic and words that I say. So I'm going to challenge what you just said. What is health for you then?
Health. Balance of mental and physical well-being. I think health.
Because the reason I say that is you just said, you know, they could be healthy, but then you changed it, and I was thinking no, because I think you. It's
not like you can be healthy and not go to the gym. So I didn't want them to think that if I don't go to the gym, I can't be healthy. It's that you can. But I thought everyone's more active and thinking about the physical health more so because they're part of Unit 1 and they're more regular with the gym. They never would have imagined them to be a gym goer 3 times a week, or want to go to the gym, or be able to do pull-ups and all this stuff. And now suddenly they're 3 years into their fitness journey and they're like, God, I am that fitness person that people go, oh, I wish I had the motivation to keep it up. It's like they keep it up now because of the way that we coach, which is cool. But yeah, I think health is a balance of everything, and I think it's more than just what you look like, it's what you're doing in and outside of the gym. And
I think you're fair. I know it's the generic answer.
About that.
No, there is. Yeah. No, but it is, and I think that's the bit, and I think you do create that bit you said, is whether it's intentional or not, and this is where because it links directly to what I'm about, is when people say, oh, you get up at 4 o'clock, go to the gym every day, and I'm like, yeah, and what I should do is I should look absolutely shredded, but I'm not, because I go to the gym to look after my mind. Yeah. I don't go for the aesthetic look to try and look that way, because actually, and I say this to people, if I wanted a 6-pack, I'd have one, but I don't like I wouldn't give up having a pizza or a kebab and beers to have one. And now I know that, so actually I don't set myself up for failure anymore, because I go through the motions of enjoying the exercise, which is good for me, with then knowing that actually I know exactly what you need to do to get to that point, and getting to, as I spoke to you before, you know, where, and you guys helped me when I did that New You, wasn't it? When I did that, but that was the start of realising that you could get back to being fit, because I got to that same point post COVID, I was like nearly 20 stone, and I was like, I thought I was positive, and I was positively surviving. I wasn't positive in what, you know, I was like, body was knackered, back was hurting, you know, my anxiety was, but I was doing everything to keep me positive, surviving, building this business and doing everything I was doing for my family and everybody else, but I wasn't looking after me. And that's the bit that people won't see. You should potentially do that bit of, do you know your setup for clients? I don't know if I've seen that. You most probably, you put a lot of work into that. Do you know, getting to know them, what they're about, you do loads of good work, and that's why they end up doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
You do, don't you? I think they...
Yeah, because they have that accountability. They just know that we care as well.
That's the bit, you were about to say accountability, but that's the caring bit.
Yeah.
There's
so many gyms that you walk into and you've signed up, or you're walking around, they'll pretend they care and say all these plans, and then they signed up and then they won't even say hi to you again, or you're just another member. And
gyms outsell. Well, gyms don't want members to turn up,
no.
Especially commercial gyms. If all their members turn up, they'll be fucked because they've got too many. Say if we've got 3,000 members, what would happen if they all started getting a message on a Monday morning saying, like, where are you? Why are you training this week? Why have you been in this week? They'd have people turning up, and the gyms would just be chaos because they've got too many members. So they're relying on people not turning up and still paying the membership, whereas any decent PT or gym should be making sure the members are turning up, improving their health.
So do you send I'm going to use my tech, do you send a positive message at the start of a week, or do to prompt people to get them going?
More like a check-in, just say, because we kind of back to front and say, here's like a form to fill out, what worked well, what didn't work well, what do you want to work on next week, so that you kind of have a message to start off with, instead of just being like, hey, let's go, because it's like, well, I feel like crap, why am I going to go, hey, let's go?
Sorry, have you got black cheek?
No.
No?
I think that,
So is it rock climbing that we all got asked, do you have a blue Jaguar? Jaguar? I was like, no, but I wish I did.
No, if you've got one going,
yeah.
you've got one going, I'll have one.
If you find me the keys, I'll move it.
But I think that the reason why I asked that question, because then bringing it back to what I said, I didn't realise the power of what one positive message to myself could have a day. And like as of today, when we're sat here, since I made the decision to set up Mike Burns, and I don't call it daily positive messages, but I've sent a positive message every day for 172 days.
Oh. Did you have intentions of doing it every single day?
No, I just said I'm just going to check. I was just going to check in with myself.
Yeah.
Do that. If I've worked through something that I could articulate and reinforce by talking to the camera myself, because that's what people don't remember. And it's great if anybody watches, is that when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to myself. Because by talking to the camera, and people don't understand this about psychology, but when you look at the psychology of your brain, it's very difficult to you to talk to your subconscious. You have to potentially do something 77 times before it's going to drop in. Yeah, so this is why people talk about 21 times your habit starts, but realistically, you get over 70 times of doing something, it will virtually become a habit of what you do. But then also when you're talking to your inner critic, that is the same as a habit. You have to create a positive self-talk. Because you might be able to it might be brilliant. You might create an habit to go for a walk, do a walk every single day. It's still no good if every time you're walking, you're fucking beating yourself up in your own mind. Because actually you've just created time to talk to yourself more.
Yeah.
No, you do. Yeah. And there's nobody you talk to more than yourself. Yeah. You have more conversations with yourself than anybody else. So you have to make your brain, this head has to be a nice place to be. Because if it's not...
I heard a psychologist say once, and I'd never really thought of it. Sorry, I think maybe we'll see a dog or something. I never really thought of it this way, but a psychologist said we have the voice inside our head that controls us, but we control that voice. So we might wake up and go, oh, I'm tired, or oh, I'm really annoyed, but then you can just go, well, actually, and you just flip it round, the way you talk to yourself, you can control it. And I don't know, I just never really thought of it, when you really...
Well, if anybody wants to know how to do that, I can tell you. So when you have that, this is all about capturing your conscious mind, yeah? So you have a conscious mind if you allow it. So when you hear those voices in your head, yeah, or you're saying them in your own head, you have to capture that thought. And the only way you change your mentality, and this is how you improve your mental health, is the technique is you go, right, okay, I'm tired, yeah? you have to capture it. Use this as an example to work through it if anybody's watching. So you get this, you go, right, I'm tired. At that point, you can go, yeah, definitely I'm snooze. Yeah? Or if you're quick enough with anything that you're struggling with in life, you go, I'm tired, that's the question. And then you ask yourself, what evidence is there to tell me I'm tired? And if you can go, actually, I've only had 4 hours sleep, it's a real thought. If you've had 8 hours sleep, yeah, that's your, that's just, then straight away the evidence don't back it up. Have you been boozing the night before? No. So I've had good nutrition, I've slept for 8 hours, yeah. At that point, there's no reason to be tired. So then you beat the voice because actually you're showing yourself there's no evidence for you to feel that way. It's the same way as when people turn around and go, oh, I look awful. It's just because they have that body, you've got a body image issue. But actually when you say to them is, like, what, you used to be a size 20, now you're a size 12. Yeah? You used to not be able to exercise, now you can. You couldn't move before, but now you can. How many times have people told you you look good? Yeah. So all of the evidence is pointing towards that. So now you're choosing to be unhappy. Yeah. So there's your choice. Because all the evidence is saying this one little voice is saying that. You make the choice. But at that point, you have a choice to win that battle. But people don't ever get to the point of building up the evidence, so they never change. And that's the bit when I always say to people, you see people go for a job. I can't go for that job, I'll never get it. Have you ever not got a job you've gone to an interview for? No. So why are you not going for the job? Do you see what I mean? But it's just because your body, and I said this to people, we are not designed to be happy and positive. We have to work at it. When you open your eyes every day, you don't wake up thinking the first thing is, it's going to be a great day to be alive. Yeah. Although I say at the end of every one of my videos, your first thing is, what have I got to do today? What problems am I dealing with? Am I tired? Yeah. Do you know all of that?
Okay, here we go again. Kind of thing.
Do you know? And that's the bit when I say to you is because that's only because it goes all the way back to cavemen. When they got up every day, what did they have to do? Not there to survive, not get eaten by something, yeah, and provide. They didn't have, and then they'd sit there.
Quick scroll.
Yeah, but it's true. But that's the bit when we look at it going, well, for us, this is the bit when we go all the way back because it's survival mode and that's built in you. Because if not, you just walk out into the middle of the road and just get back out, innit? Mm. And I said this to people is, we did this. When you get, if I was this was fresh downstairs, and I passed you it, and I say to it, what's the first thing you do as it just put into your mouth? What would you think about?
What do you mean?
So if you had I've just literally took this out of the machine downstairs, fresh hot drink. I passed you that. What would you be thinking about when you went to drink it? Would you be thinking about the taste?
Into it.
Yeah, you might. Well, this is for free. So what I say to people, you have two choices, and if you think to yourself, so when you have a hot drink, when you put this to your lips, are you thinking,
oh, is it going to hurt? Like,
is it going to burn your mouth, or are you thinking, is it going to taste nice?
Yeah. Okay.
The first thing you think about is how hot is it. You're never thinking how nice it's going to taste, and that's life. You always think about the problem first, rather than concentrating on that positive, happy moment of it. And usually, guess what? And I'll be honest with people, 90% of the time, that's why that happiness moment passes you by. Because you're worried what's going to go wrong.
Yeah, it's like spontaneous plans as well. Don't do them because it's like, oh, well, what about this and what about that and all this, and then you end up talking yourself out of it, or any kind of social event, or even like going to the gym. Yeah. And you go, oh, I'll go to the gym. Oh, but what about if I've got this amount of time, or what if so and so's there, or what if I lift something wrong? Like you end up talking about all the bad things. Not, oh, you know what, that actually make me feel better.
The reason they're looking at your page, if anybody's looking at the Unit 1 page, is because your subconscious mind's telling you want to exercise, isn't it? Yeah. So if you're already there, just take the next step, and this sounds like I'm selling you, doesn't it? But you know what I'm saying? I always use it as an example because you're straight in front of me. If I got to the point, if I saw, for example, you or Luke, and I knew you as trainers, right, and I might want to talk to you, I'm only really wanting to talk to you because I'm thinking I want to exercise, but half the time people talk to you and they won't get to the point to come and go, could you train me? But do you know when you say to people, and it's strange because and I'll ask you another question which is fun because obviously this is, like I said, it's an interactive podcast. How many people talk to you about fitness when they're pissed up?
So, yeah.
Everyone.
Even just going to my mum and dad's Sunday dinner, they're like, So I know you don't always want to talk about this, but can I just ask you a question? I'm like, yeah, go on then.
But you put somebody in a comfortable environment with a bit of Dutch courage and a drink, they're like, oh look, I'd love to, don't they? I'll message you tomorrow. I bet you get all of that.
Yeah.
But you get somebody in a normal state when they've got to think, when their subconscious is talking, because that subconscious after about 6 or 7 pints gone, isn't it? You're just going with whatever's in your mind. But that makes me, and that's probably a really good thing maybe to use when you say to people, when we're talking about it, is that people do that. And I can imagine what it's like for you guys when you look at that, oh, I'd love to train me out, come to the gym, and everything. But then it's like, but they don't sign up. And when they're sober or when they're just relaxed or in a normal environment, because that's the truth.
That's when they start thinking about all the logistics and all the other actual realistic side of signing up. But when they're drunk,
what you just said, all those things.
Yeah.
They've talked themselves out of it.
When they're drunk, they're like, yeah, just do it, let's go, happy day. That's why most people book stupid holidays when they're drunk.
Have you done that? Have you ever booked a stupid holiday when you're drunk?
No, you haven't, yeah. Or was that someone else?
Hannah did, to be fair, yeah. Hannah to be fair.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to tell people like what happened there. That's gonna have to be a 60-second intro into you. How you? That's the Mrs. Hannah, is it?
Yeah.
What's the podcast called again?
Shit,
no. To be fair, I was there when she booked it, so I didn't want with me, but I don't think it went down well as others. Other partners. I'll say them all. I don't think they'll be listening, but you never know.
No, but I think that's a good message to take from it. That, and I often do this. It's things. Ways. Somebody said to me when I gave my talk, "You have such a simple way of making complicated things sound simple." Do you know when you look at that?
Yeah, I just thought that you say simple then. That's like a complicated way of being simple.
Yes. Yeah. But it is, because I think we do overcomplicate everything in life.
Yeah.
And it is, and I'm going to remember that just for myself when I look at it and share that with people, is actually sometimes what you say when you're drunk you should write down. Because that's your true, when you look at it, maybe not everything you should say. No, but it's good. That is, and I think what you guys have done and created is you just took risks, haven't you? Really?
It's it.
Well, you definitely have. You went from a room this size, to a unit across the road.
Yeah, it was a bit. No, I wouldn't say it was a risk. As in, like, I'm lucky in the sense of if it all went to shit, I'd just go home and I'd be out, like, do you know what I mean? I'd move back to my mum's and I'd have food on the table myself. That's how I felt. So it was never a massive risk for me, personally. I don't think.
That's what I always like to say as well. It's like if
What's the
I've
worst
heard
thing
it from
that's
other
gonna
people. It's
like
if everything goes wrong, you just end up being mum
I'd
down.
say not everyone's as lucky as that, don't get me wrong, but what was the worst? Like, that's, so to me it wasn't a massive risk.
And I think that's something that, when I spoke about it, is one of my biggest insecurities is that obviously I ain't got a dad. My dad left me when I was 6 months old in my mum's stomach. My mum's an amazing woman, but she lives in like a semi-supported living place, and I've got an amazing sister, and I had to live with her for a little bit but everyone's got their own lives, and I got to the point where if I don't support myself, what's going to happen for my family? Because you get to the point now, I might have an amazing sister and I might have a lovely mum, but they can't pay the mortgage. They can't look after Charlie, and you're looking at it, so it's crazy. I spent so long so scared of striving for that financial security to get to that point, but you
that's
actually...
your drive as well, isn't it? If you didn't have that, you'd just be like, oh, I'm comfy, what's the point?
But it was driven in a really unhealthy way,
right?
Because it had come from a place of fear. That's what just really hit me when you said that, is actually you went, there was no risk. For me, that made I felt sick to my stomach thinking, and I used to always think that self-doubt, because I felt like I've been rejected or been trying to be accepted my whole life. I always thought everything could go at any minute. Like, I felt like a fraud. I felt like everybody, I was like, even when I was thinking, you couldn't read and write at 16. When I was a teacher at college thinking, what are you doing here? You're absolutely blagging it. You can't read properly. It was that always really, really suffered with it up until most of the last 6 months, and then most probably the last 3 months is when I genuinely I almost feel like Mike Burton as a person. Do you know, I feel like I'm actually nearly myself, because, well, I don't mind sharing it. When I was really lucky to come into a financial situation that gave me semi-financial security, and at that point, I sat on the toilet and had a panic attack because I thought it would take away all of my problems, and it didn't take one away. I thought it'd make me happy like that. And I can remember walking out and saying to Marie, "I'm not happy." She was like, "What the fuck do you mean you're not happy?" I was like, "Not with you." You know, I was like, but I'd been hyperventilating, you know, because it was just like, I thought I thought all these problems that I had was just going to disappear, and not one did. And I've spent the last 3 years trying to figure out what makes me happy. And that was I just didn't even, and if you've never experienced it, I won't wish anxiety on my worst enemy.
So I could say, so where do you see things going next then, with the positive messages and your next step now that you've found Mike Burton and yourself?
Well, yeah, and this is the bit we was talking about, is I got asked this question when we had a live Q&A with the audience afterwards. Someone went, "Right, what's next?" And I went, "I'll be honest with you, is continue my personal development journey, you know, to make sure I can really lock in and know, because I need, as I spoke about earlier, I need some solid evidence to know that this is genuinely who you want to be, do you know, and this is the true you, not you manipulating a situation in your own mind." And the one thing I know I want to do, and I think this is the bit, you notice when I pause, I'm having to check my own self-negative talk and think, you shouldn't say this, but then I have to go, no, you have to say it because it was about to come out, is God's given me a gift, and that's that I can talk. I might not be able to read and write properly still, you know, I might not be the most intelligent person in the world, but I can talk. And I think God's given me a gift to be able to use that and my experience and voice to be able to help people. So I want to think to myself, how I want to use my life story, all my experiences, my outlook on life, and my ability to talk to support as many kids in schools, businesses, communities, awards, whatever it would be. Do you know, I just want to do that. And which forms that takes, I don't know yet, because my mind, because I do suffer with ADHD, is that because I'm fixating on what's coming next, because obviously I'm retiring on February the 29th, because I had a dream of retiring before I was 50, and then I joked to myself seeing if I could do it before I was 40, and I turned 40 on the 20th of March, so I'm going to be able to do that. But as much as it's dead exciting, I've got a smile on my face, I'm absolutely shitting it for what am I going to do next? How am I going to stay focused? But yeah.
That's where it'd be nice to just, like I said, not put pressure on yourself and go, all right, 3-year plan, I'm going to do this. It's just keep showing up, keep doing what you want to do, and see what path it.
Because that's the plan, you know. And I got asked this question, because the reason why I struggled to plan is because I've never had one. I had one job interview when I was 17 for a trainee gym instructor job at Bargate Fitness Suite at the college. I've never had another job interview, ever. I haven't even got a CV. I haven't got one. Record of achievement, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even know what one of them is. There's certificates to go in it. Remember them? You're a bit younger than me, you two, aren't you? So,
what's that? Record of
achievement. When you used to have it at schools, might have gone. Obviously, you two are young pucks, aren't you? I'm old now. There used to be like a thing where you got all your certificates and you take it to like college, or you know, it was like, you just get, by the time you got off school, you just got a printout, didn't you? And just turn up with that. Obviously, I didn't get any qualifications, so I didn't know if you did it.
Depends how you look at it, doesn't it?
No, but yeah, that's the next step for me, definitely. What was you going to say? That we was going to ask again?
I was going to say exactly the same. Just what's the plan for moving forward?
Yeah, that's it. I believe, and that's when I said, I commented on your video and I said, I believe that community is everything, family is everything, and you have to create a community, family and tribe for yourself that works for you. And when you do that, that's when you feel really content and happy. I don't know about you two, did you both go climbing?
Yeah.
How did it feel when you was there? Was it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Was it?
It's like being 12 again, to be fair. Turn into a kid again, don't you? Like,
But even seeing both your smiles when I asked that, that's the bit. You can't buy that, can you?
It was just bringing everyone together as well, wasn't it? And just
Still got scars to be fair, but
yeah,
Were you any good at it?
no, well,
it was bad at it.
was alright. Depends what you can face on.
I just think to myself, I'd just be like, I might be able to lift some weights, but not this big weight.
It's hard as well to not try and overreach and try and pull
Yeah.
yourself up. Like, you got to set your feet right and push with your legs. Obviously, your legs are stronger, so you got to use your legs to push.
Speak for yourself.
not pull.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, so it's hard.
What-
it's weird.
When you're watching the ones that was like had done a bit before, like they just made it look effortless. There's
Yeah.
like there's a technique to it. But
And it's
It's
cool as well to see everyone's abilities in the gym,
Yeah,
like the
that was the
mobility,
best
the
thing,
strength,
yeah.
to then even grip strength as well. Like,
Yeah.
all of us compared to the climates was like we've got no grip, but compare it to someone who hadn't been trained at Unit 1, you'd have zero grip because everything at Unit 1 was farmers carries, hangs, like if you deadlift, like everything you've got to.
I can always remember trying to balance the kettlebell like that.
Oh,
That's so hard, isn't it? You're like, poof. Because it's like you two are the front, yeah, just do this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what's happened here?
What's funny is that when you have the confidence to do it just for 1 or 2 reps, you're like, yeah, right, we're doing this, you don't think about it, you just got to do it. But if I was there thinking, right, I've got to do this for 10 reps, I wouldn't be able to do it.
No, it's true. And I think that's the bit that, and I know I'm a nightmare for doing this, but I'm always like to link. If I'm having a conversation, because this is how I work with life, I think everything's linked. There's a comparison to everything. I was doing it the other night at the talk. The boxers would be talking about something in their life, and I'd articulate it to how it could be a message to everybody. And I think the one thing, like you're talking about Unit 1 and all the crazy things that because to most people, they'd be, why would you want to flip a kettlebell? And it's, but it's all about everything you do. Like if you walked in there for the first time, people would be like, "It's you." I said this to you earlier. It's unique. It's unique what you do, and I think that's about going there. You're challenging yourself to do new things, and that's you. If you don't take a risk in life, you don't get any rewards. So you don't, and whatever you stay stood still, and that's when I say to people, it's a bit like when you're going, you could just go and sit on a chest press machine in a gym for the rest of your life, or you can go and do something. There's so much more benefit. Well, you can tell me the benefits if you want, really, because I don't know the physiology, but I think there's so much more benefits from doing functional training like you do to being on a static machine. I'm guessing I'm right.
Yeah, like you said about the videos that we do, where it's like, if you want to be able to reach behind you in the car to sort a kid out or sort something out or get something out the back seat, that mobility to do that, or even look out the back window, comes from training and doing things, and we're making a few videos of that as well, and you mentioned those earlier.
I think in terms of the functional strength though, like the one thing, yes, there's benefits to movement, strength, everyday life. The one that no one really thinks about or talks about is, I would say, this will be for everyone, but most people come into, I can only speak from Unit 1, but most people come into Unit 1, they'll be looking at someone doing that with a kettlebell thinking, I can't fucking do that. And then 8 weeks later, they're doing that and they think, I'm doing like, and it's the same with any exercise. We're doing handstands at the minute, and it's like if we said to someone on their first consultation, right, Thursdays we're doing handstands, they'll be like, I'm not fucking joining it, I'm not doing handstands.
Do you still do against the wall?
Yeah.
I can remember I got to do it.
Yeah.
I can remember.
Yeah. But if like say someone in that first conversation was like, I can't do handstands.
Oh, they're not for me.
8 weeks later, they're doing parts of what we would class as hands, that sort of thing. So it's like, yes, the functional side is good, but the mental side and the confidence that it gives of them thinking, I'll never be able to do that, to then actually doing it. That's the biggest thing for me about training, functional training, anything. Really.
And I think because it is all functional, and I always try and tie everything to life. If you want a new job, if you want a better body, if you want a better mind, you want a better relationship, everything comes by doing 2 things. Breaking it down and, taking, small steps towards it. Do you know, and that's what you do. Do you know, and I think it's always good, especially if you're having this type of conversations, to be able to relate what you do at the gym to what actual I would do, giving anybody advice is, it's great. You can see that, which is someone doing an handstand and think, I can't get there. But it's like someone looking at me going, oh yeah, you've retired at 39. It's like, yeah, but you look at what I had to do in that time. Didn't happen overnight. Since the day I had to learn to read and write at 16, to now, I hadn't, it's like there's that many moments that you've been trying to bet yourself all the time and doing difficult things. But if you don't push yourself outside the comfort zone, you don't get to the end goal, do you? Yeah. And I think, but the benefit of it is, and I bet you see this, and I bet both of your smiles straight away, is when you see their face when they finally achieve something that they thought they never could. I bet that's ace.
Yeah. And it's when they realise that all the small steps and the weeks and the effort into it is all come together. Because even like doing wrist mobility and then doing stuff like this and with the broom, that then adds up to being able to do the handstand. But if you went to everyday gym and did your own program, you'd probably go, oh, I'm going to do handstands, let's just kick my leg up against the wall. But they didn't realise all the shoulder shrugs that have gone into it, the core activation, all the kind of the little bits that you don't realise really add up.
Prime example, link it to social media. People see this highlight reel of someone on social media, don't they?
Yeah.
They're only looking at the end, aren't they? They're not seeing everything that's gone into something. Do you know, when you're sitting, but that's what's up. I think it's a nightmare for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, kids now. I'm like, Charlie, when he's like, I'm really happy that I look at him and I think to myself, we limit everything you can do on social media, but when you look at it now, for teenagers, they get sold the dream, don't they? And it's like, and I said, you don't even know what you're looking at anymore.
And it's all just, like you say, it's everyone else's highlight reel, so like, oh, I can live this life, I can do this and that. And it's like, you don't realise the stuff that's going on behind that at all. And
it's one of the reasons, when I do my videos, never even notice, like, by the time I'm doing my video, I haven't brushed my teeth, I haven't brushed my hair, I haven't done anything.
I was going to ask you, can you just do them all in one take, or sometimes you go, wait, start again?
I'll be honest with you, right? I do most of mine first take. Do you know the ones that I struggle with the most?
Yeah.
I struggled with a Valentine's Day one.
Yeah.
I struggled when I did 100 messages, because I had to plan and think about it. I'm not lying. My Big John, my mate, who comes out every day and holds the camera, absolute legend.
Enough credit, by the way.
Well, enough
credit. He's in the sea every morning with it.
Hey, when he goes in the sea, right? Because obviously I'm straight in, poof, I'm in the water. He can't do that, so he's walking in. He's like, "Oh, my gooch is in the water." He does. He genuinely is like.
Camera out one day.
It is like that. Honestly, sometimes I just get him, and the problem is like, he turns up, and obviously we're walking to the sea. At least I go in a pair of shorts sometimes. He's got like bright oddball pants on and that, but he's like 6'5", walking. And none of us are prepared. I'm like literally still turning up with a carry bag with a towel in. Got carried up like, we've got all dry robes, but they stay in the car. It's like we just walk down in a pair of flip flops, pants, and then we go there. And it's a bit where, so to the point though, when I have to. I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I'd be able to like sell myself out for creating marketed content, because I can't do it. Honestly, I was like, you should see how annoyed I was trying, because I thought I want to do one about Valentine's Day, my view on it, because it was about Valentine's Day and it was fixed to a day and it wasn't something that I did. It took me about 36 takes.
Yeah, and you also then start thinking about, well, if I say it this way, people might take it that way, and then you think, oh God, like, you're trying to please everyone rather than just saying.
If you ever watch some of them,
this is the thing.
If you ever watch some of them, like I say words wrong. I say words wrong, stutter sometimes, and he's like, I've said some, I wish I could remember it, because John, we have a laugh afterwards, because obviously before we put when he goes, I said the Google or something, I called it or something. I said, you say you go on Google, I put you go on the Google. And he posted it, but people, I was always waiting. But I am going to start putting a couple of outtakes, because the ones where it's gone wrong is, when I've put them where, and then I've run off, I fell up the stairs in that a few times. It's like, I'm going to start putting the bloopers, because that's the bit when it goes wrong.
We've always said the bloopers are the ones that get the most views, the most people comment, and people actually engage with them. People love the bloopers, love the real life. And
it is, that's the bit. I nearly fell off this morning. I went to sit up to start my video, was on. Sat on the seafront, the bars, and nearly literally went backwards. Honestly. But the worst thing is, he's like a big oaf, he just laughs his head off, he's like that. And then they had to take a retake this morning, because he said, because this is the worst thing, right? You've got this guy, best mate, he's like, not that, he's a mate, I just couldn't ask for a better best friend. But now he's got really into being a cameraman. Like this morning, he went, you have to do a retake. I went, no, that was good. He went, no. I went, wow, what was up? And he went, my trainers were scratching on the floor. It's just like, he feels like people are going to judge his content. Genuine. And he's when you look and think, it couldn't be any worse. It's just a funny story, Sherry. So I did the event on Sunday, and anybody would have thought this is planned, and it wasn't, right? So first half of the show, done, interval, so I thought it'd be dead risky. So you know, as you walk into the cinema, that's the way I entered for the second half of the show. So I was there waiting for the curtains to go past. Do you know, that was my sign to go in. So I'm sat there, you know, feeling like a proper celebrity at this point, you know, thinking I'm walking in here, welcome to the second half of the show. So then you walk into the cinema and go, welcome to the second half of the show, mind them, and as I walk around the corner, do you know what the front of the cinema, you see there's the seats, then you go and you've got the barrier in front, you know, because people setting them to put your sweets on.
Yeah.
As I turn round I'd planned this for weeks, I'm going to come through that door, turn, ask the first person on the right to choose, because I was giving a prize away, choose a letter, do a number, and as I come round the corner I went, he's only fucking sat on, he's trying to get over the side of the thing, he's sat on it, big 6 foot guy, sat on the side of the thing, trying to get his leg over. I'm starting the show off and I walk in and go, what the fuck are you doing, John? In the middle of it, everyone's turning around because they've heard my voice walking in, and he's like, I'm just trying to get over here, he's trying to climb over. But obviously later on in the show I was going to invite him to stage to say thank you. I went, well, this will work then. So anyway, if anybody didn't know, this is Big John, man behind the camera, but if you didn't know, you'd have thought.
Yeah.
But you can imagine, he's got no flexibility or anything. He could be doing yours. He was trying to get over the side. I was like, what are you doing?
He threw you off your intro.
Oh, did you? I was like, come on, you know, playing it all in my mind. I walked in, absolutely. But no, yeah.
When you're not expecting it.
No, but he does. It's good. So most of it's first take, because it's something that I've already gone through in my mind a million times because I've worked through it. The only thing I have to think about in the car on the way down there is how do I get it out without swearing a lot of the time. You know, because sometimes, you know, the thoughts of, there's sometimes when you talk about, I would really like let rip on some of them, but what's really, really warms my heart is now kids are watching them with their parents.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
When I get pictures of kids watching them with their parents, and a dad sent me a message saying, Mike, I just want to thank you. And he said, why? I said, I've just dropped my 9-year-old son off at school, and as I dropped him off, he come back to the car and opened the door and said, Dad, remember, smile, it's great to be alive. I was like, yeah. And a little kid, you know, we go to see for him because you walk the dog.
Yeah.
So I'm walking there, you've got the cycle lane, ain't you? So then this family goes past. So there's like an older brother, little brother, mum, and then a little boy, a little bike comes past and he goes, morning, morning! I was like, must have been 4 or 5. I was like, that's
cool.
Yeah. I've never dreamed
Especially when it's all positive stuff as well. It's all just like getting people.
It's just people, someone said to me today, because I got asked him, why do you say morning, morning? I went, it's double as positive, isn't it? It's actually better. But now lots of people are starting to actually, you know, people will say to me today, it's actually getting really catchy now, like people that go, morning, morning, and I'm like, but I just say it because it's just one of those things where it's just like creates positive momentum. I didn't do it purposely, I just did it. And when I started doing it, I was going, morning, morning, and I was thought, and then somebody like said it, well, oh, actually, I just say it. So now it's just, but it's stuck. Because I walk around the block here when I'm on calls. So you two will be proud of me for this, you know, get my stick. So when I'm having a call, rather than sat down, I just get AirPods in, go for a walk. AirPods in, go for a walk all the time. People see me just walking around the block here and must think I'm absolutely nuts. But then as I'm driving past, people now like open the window and shout, "Smile, it's a great day to be alive," you know, and I'm like, it's me most probably 10 years ago would have been like, would have most probably felt quite arrogant about that, but now I'm totally different. It's like, it's so nice because you know it's having a positive impact.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Never thought it would be. Never thought, but now it's...
So is there any messages that you want people to take away if they're listening to this? Just throw you on.
The thing is, when I was on the radio the other day, they hit me, and I think I always end up changing the message when somebody asks me, because there's been lots of messages we've spoke about, but the one thing I'm going to stick to and I want people to remember is that I can't make a difference to the world on my own. Neither can you, neither can you. We can only be one part of a puzzle to create a little bit of a ripple. And I say to people, I do believe positivity breeds positivity, you know, and I know people talk of the law of the 5 people who spend, literally, it doesn't matter, it doesn't say 5 people who spend the most time with, or whatever. I'm not, people always say to me, you read a book? I'm like, no, don't read any book. I've had followers send me like Wim Hof books and stuff like that. I'm like, do you not listen? I can't read. Audio? No, but when I say that, it's positivity breeds positivity, and if you continuously keep trying to put it out as much as you can, it will come back to you. And I also believe kindness breeds kindness. And this is the thing for me is, and I don't know where this message is the one that I want everyone to remember is, if you can only be one thing in this world, let it be kind. Because kindness can genuinely change someone's life, someone's mood. And if we all did one kind act today, we genuinely would change the world. You'd change the world overnight, because the power of doing something, random acts of kindness or just being kind, will make somebody feel better than you'll ever know. Because I get asked the question as well is, why are you so positive? And I say, what's the alternative? I know what it is, and that's feeling down, depressed, anxious, not comfortable in my own skin. So I know what the alternative is, and I don't want to be there. And I think anyone should think about that. You know, why should you aim to be as positive as you can, as kind as you can, because the alternative is awful.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, strong message, like that.
Yeah.
Good one to wrap up on.
Yeah, well thank you for coming on.
No, super.
Shall have future chats as well.
100%. And
but good luck with the rest of your positive messages and see where it goes then.
yeah, good luck to you guys. Good luck with the business plan. Big question for me before I go is, what's the next steps for you two in Unit 1's future?
First part, to keep obviously the gym going as it is, and just help as many people get into training as we can, because that is pretty much who we help, is people that aren't training, aren't doing anything from an exercise point of view. We want to keep helping them get into it and obviously improve their lives. The new venture is our corporate coaching program, so going into businesses.
What's that look like?
It's a 12-month program.
Yeah.
Where we'd go into a business, obviously like as a company they'd sign up, and then we'd go into that company.
Amazing.
And basically just do what we do with our members, but on that scale of build a community within the business of health, fitness, education on diet and training and mindset, motivation, mental health.
So you're going to take all of like genuine well-being off a company's hands and do it for them?
Pretty much, yeah, because it's
that's
like,
quality.
it's so many people take time off sick because they're overwhelmed, they're burnt out, there's too much going on, they're not taking care of their sleep, their nutrition, their general health, and they can't keep up with stuff. But if you're fitter, you can cope with more. And like Luke was saying before, if you
massive for stress, isn't it?
Yeah, if you've got more confidence in the gym, because you then start learning you can do more, that will translate into other life as well. So you'll be more confident with your job, and productivity will be a big one for it as well. Because if you're feeling better, more productive, you get more work done, you'll have more time for your actual life and not just your work life. Quality of life goes up, and it just a lot of the problems within work life is the work-life balance, and it's health and fitness and the mindset, and it's instead of trying to make it work with a client and their work outside, it's like, why don't we actually go to the problem itself, which is work, and then work what we all need.
I think from a business owner and having like hundreds of employees, for me, when I think about that sounds brilliant, because most companies aren't going to be able to make the job easier, but they can make the person better delivering the job.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is brilliant about it, that you're improving the person, which then in turns the productivity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because businesses aren't going to be able to realistically, you can't go in and say, well, I can't let them not work as hard, but what I can do is make them a better version of themselves, mentally, physically. Yeah, magic.
Yeah.
I ain't known anybody who's doing that. Not in that holistic way.
Yeah, there's not a lot of the health for the corporate world is insurances, and it might be you might get a GP phone call or a few sessions with a mental health therapist, but not to the level of we'll be doing the health and fitness programs. We've got the coaching, videos and the podcast to help change perspectives on nutrition diet. It's not just like, oh, here's a plan, or here's some diet shakes to follow for 8 weeks so you lose fat and then feel better, cool, stuff like that's it. So we just dive deeper into health and fitness to actually improve the well-being, so that it's not just preventative stuff, it's proactive stuff.
And I think companies, genuinely, there's so many company CEOs and directors who do want to help their staff, but don't know how.
Yeah.
They offer things like GP referrals and that sort of thing. That, like I say, that's like the end. That's when it's
Like a fruit bowl.
I won't say it's too,
Yeah.
too late, but then it's offering a fruit bowl or a gym membership.
Gym
Like loads of
membership,
people
but no one
got
knows what
free
to do
gym
in the gym.
memberships, but no one goes because it's like they haven't got that first step of like what do I do?
What knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Because most people would go to the gym already if they wanted to, wouldn't they? They don't need a free membership.
no.
No, I love that.
That's
So if I was a company, would you just like go on the website?
Yeah, we've got a website. We're reaching out to specific companies as well that we know already have wellbeing initiatives and even already have gyms in their workplaces. So we know that, okay, they have a setup for their employees, but no one's using the gym because they don't have the competence to, they don't know what to do, or they're not utilising it.
Do you know what's
So,
brilliant
yeah,
about this for
it's
me?
happening.
Is that if you went to a city, the people are like doing, this is the bit when I say, me doing my messages around here is abnormal. You doing that around here is not known. So I think that you're bringing something to the local area of businesses that they wouldn't even, the mind won't be open to it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Good luck.
Thank you.
Super. Cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. Enjoy that. And you, come on then. Yeah, come on. Yeah,
Surprised we haven't got a snoring in the background for this.
Oh, brilliant, guys. Enjoyed that. Thank you.